What's up guys, welcome to this video. It's Nic Palladino here and I have my good friend Ricky. We are going to do a Q&A for you guys. I always do Q&As with Courtney, so I figured why not get someone else on the channel, and obviously a lot of you guys know him, but he's big in investing, the stock market, so I figured this would be a perfect chance to kind of go into a little more detail on that, because a lot of you guys asked me questions about trading, specifically the last couple months, because I actually kind of introduced that I do trade, and actually I learned pretty much everything from you. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video guys, and let's do this. Actually, to start this video off, I'm just going to have Ricky kind of give a little introduction on his background so you guys can kind of get a little more insight before we actually start the Q&A.
Yeah, so my name is Ricky. I'm 24 years old. I run the largest trading community on YouTube and on Facebook. We have a little bit over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, a little bit over 208,000 members on Facebook, making us the largest private free Facebook group for those who trade in the stock market. And it just started randomly. I just started uploading different videos about, like, you know, I bought my first house at age 20. I have a huge passion for cars, so I started buying and reselling cars, uploaded videos on that, and then I uploaded a video about, like, one of my biggest days of, like, a little bit over $100. And after I uploaded that video, people were so, like, interested in it. So just continue to make content that, you know, people asked me to. And now 560,000 subscribers later, we're here.
Wow, that's incredible. All right, so the first question was actually our age. So he just said he's 24, I'm 25 years old. And someone just asked, does Ricky have a YouTube channel? Yes, he does. I'm actually going to link that below. So for those of you guys that are interested in learning more about the stock market, click the link below.
Appreciate it.
What platform do you guys use for trading? So it's a basic one, but you can kind of talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so a platform that is really, like, encouraged maybe for beginners because it doesn't charge commissions can be the Robinhood platform. You know, the free trades do come at a price, meaning that it's not the most advanced platform. It sometimes bugs out. They also don't have a customer support department. So if you have a lot of money or you're trading with a lot of money, which you shouldn't even be doing as a beginner, but let's say that you do, and if it's worth the convenience of being able to have a more, in a sense, an advanced platform, then I would go more for something like TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, and again, these are all United States platforms where you need a social security number and stuff like that. But yeah, I would personally say I use TD Ameritrade. It's the one that I use. I think complete beginners can use it. Yes, it's a little overwhelming when you first get started, but there's amazing free videos that you can watch on YouTube. I have one of the most popular ones, and you can actually get started for free. It's simulation trading.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had Charles Schwab, but after, like, learning about Ricky, after watching all of his videos, seeing him trade on TD Ameritrade specifically, it just made a lot more sense to me with how I was trading. Just like the platform in general I felt like a lot more user friendly. So I actually trade on TD Ameritrade as well. My retirement account is still on Charles Schwab.
I think TD Ameritrade looks pretty cool though.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. We're literally looking at a chart behind. You guys can't see right now, but he has a chart pulled up right now. How can I get started in the stock market? This is probably the most asked question on freaking all my YouTube channels that I show my trading.
Yeah, so I would say that there's two parts, right? So when it comes down to getting started, I hope that you guys know that your intention in getting started in the stock market, when it comes down to even watching like Nick and I, it's not being able to be like, oh, if you're motivated, which, you know, can be something that you guys can see and be motivated by, but it's like, you know, today, my $1,000 day, or yesterday was 3.7K, and it's great to see that, you know, I'm making a lot of money when it comes down to trading, and you've been absolutely killing it, especially with your swing trades. But it's like, as you're just getting started, your intention should not be to make money. There's a huge learning curve, and I would first say one of the first steps in getting started is to get informed and to learn the very basics. That means that you're going to have to dedicate time, you're going to have to practice, you're going to struggle, you're going to make mistakes, but again, you're a beginner. So that's why I'm saying to not focus on making money, and that your overall account value should then align with your overall intention. So if you're learning how to trade, your account value, meaning that if you're not paper trading, then your real money should be very, in a sense, restricted, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Emotional mistakes.
Emotional, and it's like, it could be very discouraging for you to trade again if you lose a decent amount of money, and then you'll probably never want to do it. So to make sure that that doesn't happen, practice, I would say paper trade. So
paper trading, for those of you guys that don't know, it's basically trading with fake money. TD Ameritrade actually has a free, like he said before, free software that you can literally trade, I think, with up to $200,000. And that will just really help you kind of understand the stock market. It'll help you kind of understand patterns a lot more. And what actually helped me was just watching YouTube videos. He has so many free videos specifically just explaining stocks he has your course as well, which is even more in depth on that. So it's like just kind of watching videos and kind of getting an understanding of the market before you ever even put any sort of money into it. What's the most you've lost in a day?
Trading?
Yeah.
It's I'd say like probably. So overall, the most I lost in a day net from trading, meaning that because I've had losses where sometimes I'll lose like 2,300, but then on another trade I'll make
you'll
make it back.
Yeah.
So altogether now on the day was probably a little bit over $2,500, 2325. I'm not too sure around there, right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. On the day, I don't really, like probably a couple $100, I think. Overall, like one position I took, this is like why you don't trade with emotions, because at the very beginning of me trading, I actually took a really, really big loss that affected me big time mentally. It was almost $5,000 that I lost on a specific trade. Definitely lesson learned. I was trading with, like he said, don't start trading with money that you're not willing to lose. So I was definitely trading with more than I should have, and I definitely learned my lesson on that. How much have you made? What's the most you've made in a day? So the opposite of what we just talked about.
I would have had my biggest day yesterday.
Yeah, what a coincidence.
Yeah, but it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was around like 6.7K, around 7K, right? That was one of my biggest days. Yesterday, I was up 7.8 or 7.5K. And ended the day at 3.7K. Still truly thankful, truly blessed, but a perfect example of why not to overtrade. So.
Yeah. This kind of ties into this question. How much do you trade with?
Yeah, so now I'm trading with $100,000. So
okay.
I used to trade with anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 per position. And now, I mean, I say that I'm trading with $200,000. I say that I'm trading with $100,000, but every position that I take is not up to $100,000.
Yeah.
The way that I do things is like I'll add 25% of my position and then I'll average up. That's a little bit more getting into it, but ultimately, what do I say that I trade with? $100,000.
Yeah. There's something called the PDT Rule, which obviously he has videos on that, so if you guys want a little more in depth on that, but it's something that if you want to do more frequent trades, you need to actually have a certain amount of money in your account, which is $25,000. So I think that's why when you like last year, for example, you were trading, you had $25,000 in your account just so you can pass that PDT rule.
Yeah.
I just have enough to just get me over that PDT rule like we were talking about. So I think I have about $30,000 to $35,000 in my account that I'm trading with. I do a little more long-term trading, which there's obviously pros and cons to like both of those, but actively I usually have like $10,000 of equity that I can actually like trade with that's not tied up in other stocks.
And I think that's the thing that people also like, the misconception that there's only like one style or one way to trade.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways. There's so many people that have different lifestyles. This is obviously something that I'm devoting like my life and all my attention to. So I day trade, right? Yeah. And it's worth my time and my effort. For someone like Nick that has, this like full career when it comes down to being a model and an overall influencer in like the fitness and nutrition niche, he takes an approach of swing trading, right? So it's taking positions, being proactive with his trades, but that's something that he has to be attentive to every single day. Yeah. So it's great for both that want to, fully dive in, but also for those that just want to learn more about it as maybe a student, or if you have a full-time career, it can be something that you can look into.
Cool. I think that's it for the trading questions. We got a few for real estate and stuff like that. As you guys know, he invests in real estate as well. I think you've had a total of 6.
I'm at 6 right now.
6 houses that he's bought and sold. And how much you have right now currently? The one.
Well, I have 2 properties that I own as this one and then another one. But then the third house is a hard money loan that I'm funding. I funded $195,000 for an investor to flip a house. But I still, in a sense, am the lender on that title, so I own that house.
Okay. What was the most worthwhile investment you've made? And it doesn't have to necessarily be monetary.
Yeah, I would say buy my first house. When I decided to, and I always say this, that, and it was the advice that I received from my father that, I had enough money saved to buy a GTR, and that's really what sparked my interest in really
in the first place.
To get started in the stock market, to buy and resell cars. Why I was doing everything. I was a huge fanboy for the Fast and the Furious series. Ultimately, once I had enough money, I had the intention to buy the GTR. And the single most best advice that I've ever received was a very simple decision that I made, was to buy my house first, rent out the rooms that I had in that house. I would live in the master. It was a 3-bedroom. I'd rent out 2 of the rooms to my 2 friends, the only 2 friends I'd had at the ASU Polytechnic campus. So when it came down to my mortgage, it was fully covered. My mortgage was a little bit under $1,000. I live in Arizona, so the cost of living isn't much. I lived in Master, didn't have to worry about that, saved more money, and a couple months later then bought my Nissan GTR. And after that, I ended up buying my neighbor's house, became more proactive in the real estate niche, and I am where it is that I am today because of that. And it really, I think, separated me from the rest of the crowd, because everyone, when they do have money, the first thing that they want to do is show it or buy something flashy. But it's on the back end where I was just like, I think, it does make sense. And just like you, right? It's like you can buy a GTR, you can buy a McLaren, but it's like I would rather put my money where it can actually grow, and learn more about and surround myself with more motivated people.
Exactly. So, I think I'm actually in what he was just talking about. I think I'm in the same little scenario right now, like almost to this exact day, where it's like I really love GTRs. I really love his GTR, and it's like I was constantly balancing, should I get his GTR, should I buy it from him, or should I invest in my first property? And it's like the same situation. It's like you have to overall long term think about what's going to be beneficial to you. So that's why, like, at the end of the day, I want to get my first property. I want to get a couple properties before I start investing in like toys in a sense, or cars. And that actually ties into the next question. One of my best friends said, when are you going to buy his GTR, because he knows I was interested in it. So yeah, once I get a few properties, maybe we'll come back around to that, and we'll see.
I think a great way to look at that is, when you do get your first property, we're talking about the net profit that you would make off of that house after it even pays off that mortgage. So let's say you do go with the approach of buying 2 houses, right? And then being able to buy those 2 houses and have that rental income. It's paying for the mortgage. You have a net profit that you're bringing in of a couple $100 every single month off of those properties, which correlate then to a couple $1,000, especially for both properties. After that, even just after 1 year, you'll have 2 properties, you can report that income, and then you can then qualify and finance a GTR, and then now you'll have the best of both worlds.
Passive. Exactly.
Passive, and that's the best thing. It's like not just going with like the first option, but trying to, in a sense, create a way that you can benefit from both things that you want to accomplish, of having a passive income but still having the nice little toys that we enjoy.
Last question is, what amount of money do you need to invest in residential real estate?
What would you say?
It really depends. If it's an investment property, probably 20%.
Definitely, that's the like standard requirement, where it's 20%, and for the average person, that's a lot of money. Because even if it's $100,000, the average person doesn't have $20,000 saved. I just knew that from a very early age, and I know you can relate to this. I was a huge believer in saving money, and I knew that every dollar mattered. Now I'm a little bit more free with my money, or I like to diversify a little bit more, but it started with the sole principle of trying to work twice, 3 times as hard as everyone else, ignoring what everyone else thought or said. Doing my part. I had a normal job. I was doing these different things, when it came down to like investing in the stock market, real estate, buying and reselling cars, going to school full time. And then, when an opportunity presents itself, you're able to take advantage of it because you have the capital saved. So just make sure that, if your goal is to buy a house, become aware. Become aware of what it is that your credit score needs to be, how much money you have to have saved, and what a good deal in your area looks like. Meaning that you get in contact with a lender, you get in contact with a real estate agent. It's very small little actions that you take that can lead to huge results. Because again, the more you know, what is it that they say? The more you learn, the more you earn. But that's very cheesy. But altogether, I would say, at least in Arizona, because that's the only area that I invest in, I would say if you can have anywhere from like $20,000 to $40,000, obviously depending if it's an investment property or primary residence, would be a nice little cushion. Do you really need that much? No. And there's a bunch of like, I don't know if you knew this, but it's not for an investment property, but for a first-time home buyer program, where they'll actually, not require you to leave a huge down payment up front, but they'll pretty much, how they work that is that they just make your interest rate a little bit higher, so they end up making it on the back end.
Later on. I think the thing when I learned with like hanging out with Ricky and hanging out with the guys here is, the more money you have, the more opportunities will present themselves. It's like if you have if an opportunity comes and you don't have the money for it, then you're just gonna like pass on it. But if you have the money to capitalize on an opportunity, then in the long run, it's gonna make you more money. Specifically, like he's doing a lot of hard money loans. It's like if you don't have that money, you can't take that opportunity. You want to talk really briefly about the hard money loan you are currently in the process.
I think that's a perfect example where they have this like stereotype that those that are wealthier, those that are rich, just get luckier, right? But I really think it comes down to and we have this little quote on my wall of saying the harder you work, the luckier you get. And you can use luck as an excuse, but altogether it really comes down to the work that you put into what it is that you do, and the systems that you implement. So the loan that I'm funding right now is a $200,000 loan, up to $210,000. So let's just keep it at a pretty picture of $200K, and I'm charging 14%, which means that at the end of the year, after 12 months, after giving someone $200,000, I'm going to get back, if I'm not mistaken, $228,000. So literally a little bit under $30,000 by not having to do anything. It doesn't make sense because I don't have to work any hours, and we've talked about this before that, there's so many opportunities that I've been able to take advantage of where I make tens of thousands of dollars, and it really literally did not require any work. But it doesn't really come down to the amount of work that you put in, but it's what your time is valued at, or what your overall capital is valued at. And when they see that someone is doing well, or they see someone that has money, people will automatically be attracted to you because they know that in a sense more opportunities are available for those that are doing well.
And that's gonna wrap it up, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, his YouTube channel will be linked below as well as everything we referenced in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like if you guys did enjoy, and I'm headed off back to LA tonight. So I'll see you guys later.
Boom.